name is Robert Brown, and this is my response to Wikirebels and Wikileaks documentary regarding the Wikileaks website. First of all, I'd like to say this is an extremely interesting documentary, maybe the one of the more interesting things we've watched this year, and that I've been interested in Wikileaks for a few years now, and all the controversy and all the influence it's had worldwide. So Wikileaks is a prime example of how social networking and social media empower individuals to make a difference on the worldwide global scale. Not only the individuals responsible for creating and running the website, but also individuals, anyone around the world who comes across information is now empowered to get it out there anonymously, to try to reveal things that may before not have been transparent, or not have been transparent before. So I think this is really shows the power of the internet and where we're going in terms of how it's going to be used to be a system of checks and balances almost worldwide. There are a few key points in the documentary that I thought were most interesting and most important takeaway, and that was the main one was the parallels between PRQ and WikiLeaks. PRQ being the hosting site, and the policies that the two organizations implement, which are really instrumental in allowing WikiLeaks to function and then also to be as effective as it is. And the main policy is that of non-discrimination and of anonymity in terms of its users. So if you look at PRQ, the representative, or in the film, I forget his name, who was worked at PRQ, claimed that their policy is to host anything legal where they are, regardless of how offensive or controversial it is, which is a very interesting policy, and you think maybe this shouldn't be true. But then when I continued and thought about WikiLeaks, and Julian Assange speaks, how he said later in the film that it's WikiLeaks' policy or it's their responsibility. They feel it's their responsibility to make sure all submitted information gets out to the general public without any discretion. And so I thought about it, and I said, well, maybe this is dangerous. Obviously, they had the incident with the name, is putting people in danger. And the more I thought about it, I realized that you really can't. Any discrimination, once they start filtering through the information they get, then you're starting to build their own story. And I feel like that's the whole point of WikiLeaks, is to make everything transparent and not to have people with a disproportionate amount of power to create these stories. And so you look at it, and the reason it is effective is because it doesn't discriminate, and it doesn't take a stance on these arguments. It just releases all this information out to the public, and by doing so, just its effect is much more powerful because it almost adds authenticity, and so I thought that was really interesting. And I don't know whether or not that's the right thing to do, but I do think that it's a great WikiLeaks' main accomplishment is just moving towards freedom of speech and freedom of the press in terms of, if you look at like Reporters Without Borders and stuff like that, try to bring up freedom of speech around the world, and especially internet freedom. And so I don't know where it'll go from there, whether or not I feel like it's starting to be more recognized as a legitimate site source, but yeah, it's definitely interesting, and I can see how it caused a huge stir because it's totally it's a revolution against what was the norm before, and it definitely scared some of the powers around the world. So yeah, overall, it was just a great documentary, and I think that follow-ups should be made because I have no idea where it's going to go from here.